please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Commissioner Brody's with his father this evening. Had some medical needs. We do have a quorum. So is there any additions or deletions to the agenda?
No.
Is there a motion to approve the minutes from the last public business meeting?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. First, we have a presentation of the Frostburg American Legion. We have Mr. Mike Wade, Mr. John Martin, and Mr. Commander Paul Biggs.
Mr. Martin's not here, but Commander Biggs is.
Wonderful. Come on up.
We know that you guys loaned the sheriff this money, so we're here to pay it back.
Okay.
I'll start if you want, and then we'll get it going. I guess probably last fall,
Yes, sir.
we found that there was a need for a K-9 unit within the sheriff's office. Sergeant Wade Sibley, who's here today, his dog passed away in December of 2014. 15? Okay, 2015, Jack. And we were in need of a replacement dog. Knowing how funds are with the county, we were contacted by Mr. Wade along with Mr. Biggs and the Frostburg American Legion, and they offered their assistance in doing some fundraising activities in order to try to raise funds to allow us to continue on with a drug dog. With that particular money, so far we've been able, this is with Sergeant Sibley's dog Pax. Pax is on the road working today and has been involved in numerous incidences already. Also, approximately a week ago, we sent our second deputy to Florida. He's in Florida right now with a new K-9. The dog's name is Suma, S-U-M-A, the spelling on the name. So the deputy is in Florida right now with Suma and should be returning back to Allegany County in another week, I believe. And at that time, he will respond to Montgomery County Police Department, and he'll be obtaining additional training there. Sergeant Sibley was already a K-9 officer, so he didn't require the additional training he already had. The new deputy does. So he'll be going to Montgomery County and will be continuing on with the rest of the training, and probably first part of our summer, late spring, we'll probably be up and running with two K-9 dogs for the county. So, but again, Frostburg American Legion took care of trying to do the fundraising and collecting for us, which we deeply appreciate that. And I asked them to be here tonight because they apparently wanted to present us with a check for that work.
That's $27,000.
Wow.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate that. Wait.
He wants to work.
Are we getting in it?
Chris, just go down and get this picture, please.
I can't understand why.
See?
Take two, the dog wouldn't look here.
They don't look over there.
Easy. Thank you very much.
Mike, thanks a lot for all you did. You're welcome. Thank you. Do appreciate it, whatever.
I'm just gonna move on to the
All
next
right.
one. Thanks, guys.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
There he is.
Just so you're aware, the actual amount for the fundraising activity, they presented us with a check for $27,065. That does not include a purchase of a car kennel, which they've already paid for us, which was, I think that was probably an additional $3,000 or so. So it was over $30,000 is what was raised. The purchase of each dog runs approximately, I'd say $14,000. We had some additional funds that were given to us by the Narcotics Task Force, which was also utilized. So we're going to have a little bit of funding left, and that will be utilized for kennels, any type of veterinarian bills or anything like that that may creep up on us. So again, it doesn't cost the taxpayers any money at all for the purchase and the utilize the dogs, and as you well know, it's definitely well needed in this day and age. So I thank you for your support too, Commissioners.
Great. Thanks, Sheriff. All right, moving to our action agenda, we have a 90-day option agreement with Manicorp LLC. Mr. Jeff Barclay, Director.
Thank you, Commissioner. The Economic and Community Development Department is seeking for the Board of County Commissioners to authorize the President to execute a 90-day option agreement with Manicorp LLC, Maryland Limited Liability Company for approximately 74,173 square feet of Building 42 in the Riverside Industrial Park located in Cumberland, Maryland. I'll say at this time that a non-disclosure agreement has been signed with the company, the prospective company, for the period of the option, and we desire to honor that non-disclosure. And I'll also make clear at this time that it's understood by both parties that if this company and if they should move beyond this due diligence period, if they decide to move forward with a lease or a purchase, that the use and the identity will then become public information.
Right.
I make a motion, we move forward with this.
I'll second. All in favor? Aye. Thank you,
you.
Mr. Barclay. Next, we have Code Home Rule 3-17, Maryland Commercial Property Assessed Clean Energy. Mr. Nedved.
It's going to fall everywhere. Commissioners, Mr. Neely made a presentation to you on January 19th about the Clean Energy Loan Program. The loan program is active in 10 counties in Baltimore City and in discussion to be in Prince George's County. Enabling legislation to implement the program in Allegany County has to be passed by the Board of County Commissioners, and with the assistance of Mr. Rudd, the legal department, we introduced the Code Home Rule for your consideration at the February 23rd public meeting. On March 9th, my colleague, Mr. Barclay, stepped in for me, and we had a public hearing on the Code Home Rule. And Mr. Neely from Pace Financial Servicing was available to answer questions the public or the media had. And again, the program is only for commercial properties and for at least $25,000 in energy efficiency improvements. Since the public hearing, one amendment has been proposed, and it's just basically an update to keep our legislation in line with other counties, and we're going to enact that. Otherwise, it's the legislation that we did introduce and we did have a public hearing on. And today, I'm asking to have the Code Home Rule be authorized by the county commissioners. And I guess I also will defer to Bill if he has any comments.
Well, yes, the bill was originally introduced, actually, they sent us a form, and one of them they had was from Kent County, who's also a code county, so we kind of used that. Well, it turns out since that was passed, there was a minor change. It used to be a limitation on how many kilowatts. There's now no limitation, so we were recommending you take that out. And then there was just some technical language as it relates to the lien surcharge. So we'd ask that you approve the amendment first and then vote on the amended bill, but it's as represented by Mr. Nedved.
And we've already held public comment on this?
We did hold that, yes, at your last
So
meeting.
we can take action?
You can take action
All
today.
right. Is there a motion for the amendment?
I make the motion. This is a good program, much needed here.
I'll second. All in favor? Aye. And on the program itself, I'll make the motion.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. See, it's easy with two.
Yeah, thank you, Commissioner.
All right.
Thank you, David.
Next, we have Chesapeake and Atlantic Coastal Bays Trust Fund, Mr. Dan DeWitt and Angie Patterson. I didn't see you on the top line there.
She's always number one.
That's right.
Good evening, commissioners and everybody. Okay, so Dan and I are requesting authorization from the county commissioners this evening to submit a grant proposal to the Chesapeake and Atlantic Coastal Bays Trust Fund to restore 3,500 linear feet of Georges Creek in Shaft, south of Frostburg. This project was made a priority by our Bay TMDL Phase 2 Watershed Implementation Plan team due to its potential to improve water quality for credit towards our WIP implementation plan, as well as address access and inflow and infiltration issues of the sanitary sewer line that is in the project area. So the sewer line is currently inaccessible for maintenance or evaluation by our utilities division. So we are going to move the stream over so that we can gain access to the sewer line, which is in need of repair. We are also partnering with MDE's local abandoned mine lands division to reclaim 2 abandoned surface mine pits in the project study area. So we were awarded funding by MDE's Watershed Assistance Grant Program in 2015 in the amount of $59,000 to study the project area, and the outcome of that was a recommended alternative to fill in the surface mine pits, realign the stream with a forested buffer through the valley where the pits currently exist, which pushes the stream again away from the sewer line. Wetland enhancements were also recommended in the southern segment of the project study area. So our grant proposal for construction is due next week, March 31st, and our funding request is going to be in the ballpark of $800,000 for a design build contract. We do have a 70% design in hand, so the design build would take it the rest of the way. We have leveraged match in the form, we have leverage match from Abandoned Mine Lands Division in the amount of $900,000 to fill the pits, and then also leverage match in the form of county staff time to administer the project in the ballpark of $40,000. Once the project is complete, then our utilities division will be able to access the sewer line and do the needed repairs. I think that Dan would like to say a couple words about our success with this grant program in the past.
Thank you, Angie. Commissioner, just wanted to reiterate, this is the same funding program we've used for the last 4 to 5 years. We've done a lot of tree planting, about 100 acres of tree planting. We've done about $800,000 worth of stormwater pond work just outside Frostburg State University. And just within the last week or two, finished up the Evans Creek Stream Restoration Project, which we talked about this time last year. It's a good pot of money. It's a 100% grant. We can't get much better than that. The folks from DNR are very good to work with, and they've taken a big interest in this project specifically. And we've had about 10 different people in the last 2 years from their organization and MDE come up to look at it. So we're hopeful that we can get a good result from our funding application and continue that good relationship with them.
What about the fishing hole?
Okay, so Mike Garner has been a great partner from the Abandoned Mine Lands Division. He's going to come up and say a few words about their interest in the project.
Thank you, Commissioners, for having me. We at MD Abandoned Mine Land Division, we've been studying that area for some time. It's as you may know, that whole upper part of Georges Creek has been undermined on the Pittsburgh coal seam and the Tyson coal seam. The streams flow in the upper part of the watershed year-round. As it comes down toward Georges Creek, we lose that flow into the deep mine workings, and then it comes out in Clary'sville and through LaVale via the Hoffman Drainage Tunnel. So we had a study performed recently that showed that fishing hole as the main source of infiltration. Of all the sources in the area, in the stream, that fishing hole was the primary loss zone. And so we're interested and have been interested in a number of years filling that hole to prevent that infiltration.
Fish fry.
There you go. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Thank you all.
Does that answer your question?
I don't know if it satisfies Commissioner Brody, but it satisfies me.
I don't think it does. In fact, I'm sure it doesn't. But, do you want to get into any detail?
No, that's good enough. No, thank you. Thank you.
Trust you.
Thank you.
I make a motion, we accept this.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All right, item number 5 is the Cumberland Area Transportation Improvement Amendment. Mr. Cool.
Good evening, Commissioners. This is one of those housekeeping tasks that the MPO is asked to do from time to time. It relates to the fact that because the Transportation Improvement Program has to be restricted fiscally, as more funds become available or the need changes, we need to update that particular area. And this evening, what we're looking at is adding some funds, federal funds, for private nonprofits such as HRDC and Friends of Ware to apply for transportation projects. So.
Any discussion?
No.
Is there a motion?
So move.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Roy. All right, moving to our consent agenda. Mr. Eberly.
Commissioners, tonight we have a single item on your consent agenda for possible action, and it relates to a contract award to Specs Inc. Here in Cumberland to help prepare a plan for connectivity between Lower LaVale and the Great Allegany Passage.
Great. So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Correspondence.
Well, Commissioners, first and foremost, this week we did open bids on the Prince Albert Sunnyside Water Project, and that project is creeping along. And we were pleased to report that we had 8 bidders on the project, and we hope within 2 weeks to be in a position to award that contract. Commissioner, I also have correspondence which is addressed to United States Senator Ben Cardin, United States Senator Chris Van Hollen, and United States Congressman John Delaney, and it relates to our interest in preserving community development block grant program. So if you would like for me to read at least one of these letters into the record.
Read one of them into the record.
Dear Senator Cardin, we are requesting that funding for the Community Development Block Grant Program remain in the federal budget. Funding from this program has been critical for large projects that affect low and moderate income residents. Projects completed in Allegany County with CDBG funding include public water, public sewer, infrastructure for industrial parks, and the removal of imperiled houses from the floodplain and assistance for daycare centers. Without CDBG funding, many of these projects probably would not have been completed. A large number of our residents have a better quality of life today due to the assistance of Allegany County and what we've received from the block grant program. The Community Development Block Grant representatives that serve our area are efficient and responsive to our needs. Funding from block grant is utilized in a timely manner and spent on very worthwhile projects. We are currently working with the CDBG program to provide public water to an area where residents are obtaining their water directly from a stream or contaminated wells. We feel very strongly that the Community Development Block Grant Program is one of the best federal programs that serve Allegany County. Please contact us if you have any questions, and we are willing to testify about the benefits of this program and provide any additional assistance within our power to help maintain this worthwhile program. Sincerely, the Board of County Commissioners.
Thank you.
Good. Pass this along.
Anything else?
Commissioners, and one other item under my report, just to report that we had an executive session scheduled for this afternoon at 3:30, and Commissioner Brody was not able to join us today, so we have postponed that executive session for a later date.
Great. Thank you. Mr. Rudd.
I have nothing.
Thank goodness.
Commissioner Valentine.
Well, at one of our recent meetings, we had some folks from the Cumberland Speedway here talking about the racing facility. Jake and I, along with Commissioner Brody, we were out there for the Enduro race. Glad to say that they had 53 cars showed up to race that day. The grandstands were probably pretty close to 3/4 of the way full. Unfortunately, Mother Nature put about a foot of mud on that track, and they were unable to race. But it shows that there was a lot of interest. It was $10 a person to get into the event, which is a very low price to begin with. Since they got delayed by the weather, they have decided they'll try again on April the 8th, and it will be totally free admission to anybody that wants to go out. They've doubled the purse for the race, and so instead of 53 cars, I wouldn't be surprised to see 80 or 90 cars out there for that Enduro race. Also on the 8th, they'll have all the different racing classes out there. All the cars will be allowed to take practice laps on the track. They'll have a car show. They'll have the Miss Cumberland Speedway pageant out there. So the 8th, it'll be an all-day event out the Speedway, and I think it's going to be a real good start for them.
Great. First, our next meeting is Thursday, April 6th. We'll actually be honoring Sam Perlazzo, former manager of the Baltimore Orioles. So he'll be here, and that is Sam Perlazzo Week. We've honored someone opening week of baseball season for the past couple of years, so we're excited to see him here. I will say I was disappointed last week when the governor said that we couldn't have hydraulic fracturing in the county, that it wasn't safe at this time, and he didn't want it anywhere in Maryland. And so we've been promised that we will be taken care of. That would have been a tremendous asset, more so to Garrett County, but also to Allegany County, to our tax base, and really helping our economic prospects. So I hope their money's where their mouth is in the legislature and the governor's mansion, because if it seems like every time we put something forward, there's always some sort of state regulation, whether it's internal or external, MDE, state highway, fire marshal, whatever, or on this side, the politics, the legislature get involved. It says we can't do it, and we can't use energy that we have here. We'd rather buy it from Russia and buy it from places overseas. So that was the determination of the governor, and we're going to live by it for now. And I hope technology keeps improving, that someday we'll be able to use energy in Western Maryland like we have for the past 200 years. The other part of this is we're going through our budgeting process, and we're looking at about a $2 million deficit. Big part of that is our health insurance going up. And so we had budget hearings all day today. Tammy Fraley, Board of Education member, thanks for sticking around. She was here this afternoon, and you know, I think our relationship with the Board of Ed is improving, but their budget is increasing about 1.1%. They asked the state for 1.1% increase. I'm happy to give them around a 1.1% increase. Unfortunately, they asked us for 4.6%, which is about 300,000 plus another $1 million. So we're committed to increasing funding for education. We've done so for the past 3 years. It's going up an average of 1.1% a year, and we're going to continue to do that. And I understand they have challenges, but we have challenges too with the flattening tax base. So with that, we don't have anyone signed up, do we? No one signed up to speak. All right, well, our next public business meeting is Thursday, April 6th, 5 o'clock, and Sam Perlazzo will be honored during that meeting. Thank you.